Welcome back, guys. Today's going to be our first lesson on jumps, and the jump I'm going to pick today is axle. So for this lesson, I'm assuming you know the basics and you can do all the way from waltz jump to Lutz, and you should always be getting proper coach supervision while you're working on your jumps, so please make sure you have that. My intent on this is not to change any technique or anything, just to provide some tips that I use so that may help your axle if you're working on it. I assume you know the proper rotating position in the air and your backspin with your arms in towards your chest. We're just going to talk about the takeoff direction, the air position a little bit, and the landing. Okay, so I'm just going to go do a walkthrough of an axle. I'm not actually going to do it, just so we have the basics down. So as I enter into my axle, I'm on a right back outside edge, and my shoulders are lined up on the circle. Okay, you don't want to be square like this, you want to have your shoulders on the circle. Okay, and then as we approach the jump, we're bringing our arms in front of us. I like to teach it in front of the belly button like this. Okay, I'm not a big fan of stepping into that axle and having both of your shoulders square. I like to go into it and have your arms coming in nice and relaxed in front of you here. So to me, the biggest thing is having a good check when you're stepping into the jump. By check, I mean if I'm stepping on my left foot, I have my left side leading into the jump. If you were stepping in like this, I think it's a lot harder to do an axle. It's so much easier to have your right shoulder pressed behind you and your right hip pressed behind. Okay, so left side strong as we're heading into the axle. Next, we're going to just talk about the takeoff. Okay, the best axles go across the ice instead of on the spot or inside the circle. We want to feel like we go really far across the ice. If you look down, I'm just going to draw a simple diagram. So here's my right back outside edge, that's my setup, and I'm heading in this direction. Now we step forward. When I step on the circle, I should step similar shape to this circle. So I shouldn't all of a sudden be going inside the circle. I should be stepping on the same circle, okay? So that's my left foot on an outside edge like this. So I got right foot and then stepping onto my left foot, heading in the same direction. Now as we take off, that left foot is going to end up doing almost like a quarter turn. It should end up facing that way, while my body direction should continue in that path. Okay, so I'm just going to do it moving now. So here was my right back outside edge, my shoulders on the circle. I'm going to bring my arms in front. I'm going to step with the intent to jump in the same direction. I'm going to go back and kick through. Backspin, out. Okay? Now just to go over that diagram that I drew on the ice, I'm going to step on it. I'm going to show you what I want your left foot to do. As you're taking off, you don't want to hit your toe and kick through and have your left foot still facing that way. I want your left foot to pivot a little bit. Some people do teach the axle with a skid. Some people teach it going straight off the toe. I'm not going to get into that in technical detail. That's up to you and your coach. But everybody does their axle, and that left foot ends up going into the circle while the arms and the head go in that direction. So you should almost have a diagram visualization of your takeoff looking something like this. Your left foot facing into the circle and your right knee and arms going this way like this. Okay? So if your axle's looking like this, with my head that way and my arms that way, the jump's going to go really around in a small spot. It's going to be spinny and hard to control. But if you got your arms going across your body with your head going that way and your knee pointing that way, you're going to be much more over your skating axis in the air. I just want to go over my feelings on how far the leg goes through. Okay, so if you're doing a waltz jump, which is only half a rotation, you can bring that leg through as far as you want. The further it goes, the further across your waltz jump will be. But as soon as we start to go to axle, we can't take our foot that far and still have the time to get into a backspin. So me personally, I like to teach it only to about here. Not very far at all. Definitely the boot of the blade should not be out in front. The boot of the blade should be under the knee. Some people teach it even closer, like this. Some people a little bit further. But it shouldn't be too far at all. It should be very close to your other foot so that when you turn over in the air and step down, you're right over. Okay, for double axel, it's even smaller. Double axel is going to be even closer to your feet. Okay, so just remember on an axel to not take your foot out too far. Keep the boot under your knee and keep it close to your skating axis so you can get into the rotating position quickly. Just want to go over the air position, okay? I like to teach my air position as in nice and tight and the arms in the middle. Okay, in the past, my own coaches, other coaches, it has always been a little bit over the right side like this, all right? But I find that's a little bit constrictive and it actually ends up being a little bit off axis when you keep it really hard check like this. So I feel like if you get your arms in the middle, it's actually a lot better. You're still going to be over your right side, but your arms are going to be over the middle, okay? And if you do that for your axle, it'll help you rotate fast and be over your axis. So moving on from that, we're going to talk about the landing. And on the landing, so let me rewind a bit. Here's my air position. As soon as I go to the landing, that's when I like to take my shoulders and then line them back up with the blade on the landing. So here's my air position, and I like to go into a bent position like this with the arms, the shoulders front and back like this. This is better for the check on the landing than trying to land in this position. So air position like this, but then move the shoulders back like this for the landing. Then you lift your leg up and out and look over your shoulder on the landing. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate an axle now. I haven't competed in like 36 now, so like 15 years. So it's not going to be the best axle, but it should give you an idea of decent back outside edge, decent forward edge, and an air position and landing. Okay.